Order at 2:10.
2:15.
2:15, I'm sorry. Would you like to do our invocation for us?
Let's all stand. Heavenly Father, we thank you for this day. We thank you for the guidance and the direction that you give us. And we just ask you, Lord, to bless this meeting. And we pray that we make the right decisions for the Cherokee people. We thank you for the soldiers who are serving our country. We ask you to keep them safe. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Roll call, please, Shelley.
Yes, sir. Nick White.
Here.
Harley Buzzard. Bill England.
Honey.
Johnston.
Here. I don't care.
Jack Baker.
Here.
Joe Bird.
Honey.
Sean Crichton.
So does that sound bad?
Don Gardner.
Around.
Frankie Hargis.
Present.
Wanda Hatfield. Rex Jordan. Curtis Snell. Janice Taylor. Here. David Thornton. Victoria Vasquez.
Ani.
David Walkinsmith.
Honey.
Brian Warner.
Honey.
We do have a quorum.
Like to ask for approval of minutes.
So moved. Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Was this mine?
And reports. Who's doing Marshall Lamb today?
Here, we just go to Ron.
Let's go on to Ron. Ron Qualls, come on up.
Good afternoon.
Hey, Rob.
First thing is a good friend of ours, Billy Hicks and family are having a baby as we speak. Baby boy. I have a couple of things. The administration, federal administration, having delays in funding us, and as well as everybody else that's waiting for funds. We have requested the first quarter of the NAHASDA funds. We initially sent it to the Oklahoma City HUD office, and then they send it on to the DC office. That would be around $8 million for the first quarter that we've requested. HUD has participated with us on the request, and it's not new. We've requested funds in the past and received them. So I just want to make sure everybody understands I don't expect a big problem with getting this money. One of the reasons is we are spending, and it is obligated now, we are spending the 2016 funds now, starting in October of this year. It's the 2016. And we always do that because of this example, the 17 funds are not here. And so it's always good to be 1 year behind on the funding, and that's worked out so far for us. Let's see. Thanks to the Housing Authority and Gary, and he's been very patient with us, but we finally got all of our staff moved out of the buildings that was occupied historically by the Housing Authority, and they are the Housing Authority buildings. And so all of our people are out now, and we're proud of that. And thank you, Gary, for having a little patience with us. His patience, we're getting pretty thin, I think. So, but anyway, that's been taken care of, and we're finished with it. And, I'm going to ask Billy's cohort to come up and participate with us if we have questions on.
Ron, I had one before Billy's cohort come on. On our old funds, like 2013, 2012, 2010 HUD funds, have those all been expended now?
The NAHASDA funds?
NAHASDA funds?
Yes.
So now
We don't have that. We don't, of course, we obviously don't have the 16 funds. Now, it's obligated, and as long as those are, they're obligated as far as being put in a Indian housing plan, and that obligates the funds.
Okay, but we don't have any old money as far as 2012 and 13.
HUD specifically requested to know if we had what they term as 1937 Housing Act funds. And all that is, and we say no, because the Cherokee Nation has expended all those funds. And they have expanded. We actually have some tribes that have 1937 Housing Act funds, which is nothing more than money that was not expended by them, that was allocated to them in 1997 and 98.
I know several years ago, we had some of those older funds, and at that time, we were in the process of cleaning them up, so it sounded like we have spent all those funds.
Yeah, that's gone. It's gone.
Thanks, sir.
Does he want to go ahead or just answer questions?
Just answer questions.
Okay, we're open for questions, folks. Oh, these guys are good.
Today, they're good.
Good report.
Thank you. Thank you for all your work on this.
Pleasure.
Get out quick. Mr. Cooper.
Yes, sir. I know y'all have had a long day and y'all are running a bit behind, so I'm going to try to keep it brief. I did want to mention that I think that y'all are probably aware of it, but last week our very own Housing Authority Council and former Speaker of the Tribal Council received a national award. She was recognized as the National American Indian Housing Council Lawyer of the Year. That award is given to someone who's demonstrated outstanding legal contributions throughout their professional career to tribal housing. And for over 22 years, Tina has proven herself in that category. She joins a very small handful of other attorneys from across Indian country that have ever received this award from our national organization. And I believe that she may be the first Cherokee to have received it. Don't hold me to that, but I believe so. So it's a tremendous honor for us to have her join their ranks. Our housing rehab construction offices have moved. Ron's folks and CCO have made their move, so it was kind of a domino effect. Since they moved out, we were able to move our rehab construction offices from up here on the hill to now they're located behind where CCO used to be, just right down the street here, behind the model homes. About 5,000 South Muskogee is about the physical address, right between Del Ranchos and Amerigas. So they've gotten moved over there, and I also have for you that I can give you hard copies. I'll also send out electronic copies. The Housing Rehab Department will also be doing the weatherization program again this year. If you have individuals or community groups that would like materials, same application for both. There's just a box up top to check whether it's an individual or a box to check if it's a community group. So we tried to make it easy, so just one form. If it's a community group and they want to serve 10 families, 25 families, it asks that on there. Just write it in there and kind of give us how much they need. I'll pass these out, but I'll also send you out an electronic version for that. And then it also has my staff's contact information up on top, who to get those to, and they will, whenever we know how much they need, they'll start pulling that stuff and make arrangements for them to get those materials. And I think right now we have materials to serve quite a few families, and if we need to, we can always get some more in. Also, I do want to mention that next Tuesday our offices will be closed for our annual staff development day. It's one time a year we close for a housing authority gathering, and it's to provide all of our employees to come together to have a professional training day, a staff development day, but we also provide Christmas dinner for our employees. But we do some training, I'll give years of service awards. I think our service awards, I believe altogether we had just right over 50 this year. that are receiving some type of service award. I think there was somewhere between 51 and 56 that are getting them either Years of Service Award, Outstanding Employee Recognition Award, or whatever the case is. As of the end of November, Housing Authority had 247 employees. So that is a total of 95.5% being Cherokee. Once we add all other Native Americans in there, 98.8% is our official tally for that. And I can tell you that I think those numbers are pretty much where they came from whenever we moved from Cherokee Nation back over to Housing Authority. And I think that just about every new hire we've had since 2012, whenever we was over there, has been Cherokee. So I think that's pretty much the main things that I wanted to be sure to mention. Other than that, if you have any questions, I'll be happy to try to answer those.
Mule angling.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Gary, would you check on a roof? Remember when the tornado went through Tulsa
Yeah. Back in the, yeah, I do.
about a year ago?
Yeah.
They're still just putting blue tarps on his roof. Would you see if they couldn't
Yeah, you want to give me his name after we get done here?
Yep.
And I'll be sure to check on it.
be happy? I had coffee with him last Friday. He said all they're doing is replacing the blue tarp on it, so.
We found a few of those whenever rehab came over, and the plan was that they were supposed to go back out if we could identify where those was that just got tarp but not the rest, and get it taken care of. But get that information. I'll visit with you afterwards.
Because he said it's damaged his kitchen ceiling now, you know, if it's leaked over,
Yep.
which makes sense.
Well, we want to get it fixed, so I'll get his information from you so
Okay,
we can
I'll
see
do
what we
that.
can
Thank
do.
you.
Brian Warner.
Thank you, sir. Gary, the RAP program, rental
Yes.
assistance.
Yes.
Have we kind of been, I mean, are we going to start moving on that?
It's hard to say. We've gotten some folks. The numbers are getting back to where they should be. So as folks, families start to move out, we can start pulling some
Right.
to offer those. For example, as of the end of October, that number was 1,652.
Okay.
And we have about 1,492, there might be 1,503 slots. It's right around, it hovers right around 1,500. I'd have to double check just to make sure. Sometimes if we don't have to pay, the rental assistance we provide is in the form of a subsidy. So if we don't have to pay out the full amount of subsidy on sometimes we're able to serve more. So that's kind of where we're at. But we are getting close.
Okay.
We are going to, at some point in time in the future, we're going to have to really take a hard look at that and see either the governmental appropriations is going to have to increase, which it hasn't done in quite some time, to help fill that void, or that program is pretty much just going to be for elderly, handicapped, and disabled,
Okay.
because we provide preference there right now,
Right.
and
So
that's
if I've got,
a big portion of who we serve.
right,
As how it should be.
what would
but-
you recommend for somebody that's on temporary, but they're coming off and they need to get on the the RAP program? What would be
There's-
the recommendation?
There's a few options. One of the first things that I recommend for folks in that situation, and that my staff also, whenever they come in and they have that initial contact with them and take that temporary assistance application, is discuss at that time other options. Our rental assistance program isn't the only thing out there. There's a lot of apartment complexes
Right.
that have what's called project-based housing. So a lot of times they can get in there, your garden walks, your places like that.
Right.
They have project-based assistance. So a lot of times our temporary, and we see that a lot where we can get them into those properties. Our temporary assistance will help those families out until their project-based assistance can pick up. And, you know, a lot of times they may be able to get more through the
Okay.
project-based assistance. than
What
the
about
other.
our college housing through Housing Authority? Is that shut? When does that reopen?
We open it up the fall of every year. And then depending on the number of continuing students we have, which this year it looks like that we're going to, they're all going to be continuing, so we won't take any new applications
Okay.
in January. But I think that the number we served this year was around 121.
Okay, all right.
So that we provide assistance to.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you.
Harley?
Gary, I've had a couple of calls about low-rent housing in Jay. Single housing units, they're telling me we don't have back doors in those, and they're asking me about code. I said, well, I don't know. I'd check with you and see what you thought.
No,
They have front door, but no back door.
which units are we talking
The
about?
low-rent housing there in Jay. You know where the Housing Authority office is? All those houses right next to them down the single road. They're single units.
You're talking about the apartments and not the two-story, the senior housing
Right,
project?
those on the housing.
Now, to my knowledge, no, but I'll have to check and see. But, I mean, it depends, because, I mean, I can tell you that I don't remember, I think that there is an older project up there, so it's possible that they may not, but I don't know that that is the case. I'll just have to look and
Well,
see.
they don't have doors. I've looked,
Because-
they don't have doors in them, but it is an older project. I
Yeah,
know that.
because I think our oldest one that we have under management right now was built in 1968 or 69.
Well, those are
came
probably
online.
in that area.
Yeah, I think they were in the very early 70s, about 70, 71 up there.
But anyway, I told them I would check with you and have you look at the specs and see what can be done,
Sure.
if we can do anything.
Well, and one of the big things is, you know, yeah, we can look at it and see.
The other thing is on West Solon Springs. Have we started to rent any houses yet?
We haven't closed on that property, so we are not the official owners yet, so no, we haven't. But we have, we've worked with those families, got them all ready to go for whenever that does happen.
Oh, you're just waiting on the closing?
Yeah. There was a couple of snags that had to be taken care of.
Okay. All right, okay, that's it, sir. Thanks.
You're welcome. Anybody else? Okay, Gary, thank you.
Thank you all. Y'all have a Merry Christmas if I don't see you before.
Michael Lynn.
Good afternoon. I've got a fairly brief report this afternoon. Our Cherokee County projects, 10 Killer School Road, started paving this afternoon, so they should be moving along out there. That project is currently behind schedule, but they are progressing forward now. Northeast 4 Gibson project, that's the project where we had the issue with the American burrowing beetle. We have purchased those mitigation credits on that project. As soon as everything, we made the purchase on December 2nd, but there's still some paperwork we've got to go through with Fish and Wildlife Service. So as soon as we get the green light from Fish and Wildlife, we're going to begin moving utilities on that project and get things going. Grace Hudlin Road, located here in west part of Cherokee County. Right-of-way acquisition will begin very soon on that. We're preparing offer letters and looking at the appraisal documents right now in order to help us prepare the offer letters. Moving on here towards Delaware County, Kenwood J Road is now completed. We have in the process of making final payment to the contractor on that project. And the Leach Kenwood Road is contractor's working on drainage structures on that project. Once some drainage structures are replaced, they'll do some patching in some areas, and then that'll be an overlay project. As well as the Whitewater Creek Bridge, that's located on the old Stanwady project, just north of Jay, just south of Grove. That bridge closed last December due to some floods, and the state and the county have worked hard to get that project let and out to contract, and we were a funding partner in that through Tribal Transportation Program Bridge Funds. So that project began construction in mid-November. So then lastly, I want to mention Moonshine Road project in Sequoyah County. That is a patching and overlay job, but there's also I see some laughs on the name. I didn't name it. That's a patching and overlay job, and we've got some issues out there with some guardrail, and we actually have a meeting set up this Thursday with a guardrail company to come in and kind of give us some assistance on what some of our options are out there. We may be looking at cable barrier versus the traditional guardrail that you see on some of these roads. Mainly the reason we're going to look at the cable barriers because of the width the lack of width we have out there to install new guardrail due to the guardrail standards changing. So anyway, Mr. Chair, that is my report, and I'd be glad to answer any questions.
Mr. Crittenden.
Yes, sir. Just had someone contact me about Chewy Road. Is there any, what's the plans and action on that, sir?
Chewy Road, is that the River Road? Or is that we've got a couple projects going on in that area. The River Road that goes north and south off from Skelly School. I think it's Skelly School headed north. That project is. We're completing the NEPA process on that, and we've got the contract through Adair County. We've got a contract with an acquisition company to begin right-of-way acquisition as soon as the NEPA is completed. That project NEPA should be completed on that fairly quickly, I hope, and then we're ready to roll on the right-of-way acquisition. We call it Chance Road, the road that runs between 10 and 59, is still in the design phase, so it's still ways out. I'm not sure which one you're asking about there, because they both kind of go by the same name.
I think you covered
it?
that.
Okay.
Oak Ridge looks good.
The chipset.
Kind of what we're talking about. Looks real good. People are happy. Good. And the Bell project still on the scene there.
Yes, it's still underway. We're getting the bridge designed out there. Actually, there's two little structures right there beside each other. Then one of the structures will be widened, and one of the structures will be replaced altogether. And we're that's in the design phases, and should be wrapping up here pretty quick, according to the report we got here recently.
Appreciate you always being helpful and answering my calls. And appreciate you.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank you.
You what? Councilor Walker.
What's the status on that Welland Road?
The last I talked to him, he had a contractor lined up to come in and mill it, which you come in and just kind of shave off the high spots, try to smooth it out. They ran into Thanksgiving, then they ran into cool weather.
I gotcha.
And I think now the plan is to wait until spring.
Okay.
They don't want to mill it when it's too cold out because of the afraid of it might chip out worse than they want it to. And so I think their plan is to wait till a little warmer weather comes around. I know he's concerned about it. I've been on the phone with him a lot, the commissioner that I'm referring to, and he's wanting to get it done, but the contractor that he's proposing to use I think there was a death in the family. One of his crew members had a death in the family, and then the Thanksgiving rolled around, and then now the cool weather's come in. So
okay.
I know he's working on it, though.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Chair.
Councilor Snell.
Michael, on that Leach Kenwood overlay, you're going all the way from Kenwood to Leach, right? Travel all the way?
Yes.
They're going to overlay it all the way.
All the way from the Cherokee County, Delaware County line, all the way to Kenwood, yes.
Somebody called me and was all disturbed, said they're only going halfway.
No, it's going all the way down to the county line, from Kenwood down to the county line. Yeah.
No, they was all concerned about it. They thought it was only going, you know how them.
Rumors.
Yeah.
Okay, that's all I need to know.
We started them right here.
Yes.
Wanda, go ahead.
Just an observation, not in my jurisdiction, but close enough. The Facet Road, I love it. It's great. That's been a gravel road for years. But I was driving like the back roads, at Cherry Tree, and when you drive up, okay, there's a stop sign. Everyone should observe the stop sign. There's a lot of traffic that comes obviously from the Facet. Do you know that you could possibly put like a barrier or something, because if you go right into 59, because if you're not paying attention, like the stop sign, do you see what I'm saying? You go right into 59, and there's a white line there, and the reason I'm telling you this is because it happened to me. You're driving just a little bit too fast, and that's my fault. But you need a I don't know what you call those.
Stop bar?
A speed bump, because if you're driving too fast, you're going right to 50 and 59. It's very dangerous. 59 South is dangerous. Many wrecks there, and I'm just afraid someone's going to, like I almost did. Just you see what I'm saying?
I do.
Is there any way? Do we have any money for that?
Well, we can't put in speed bumps, but I've seen at T intersections where state highway, they'll have what they call chevron signs, but pointed both directions, the big bright signs.
Yes.
That you can see at night.
We'll
look at something like that.
I think that would help, because if you don't stop right, past the stop, you're going to go right to 59, and that traffic is, if anybody has ever observed it, they drive very fast.
Okay.
But it's just because it happened to me, and it may never ever happen again to anyone. But you could really easily go into the highway and.
Yes. Okay. You're talking about running out into the highway by accident.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Thank you.
We'll look at it.
Thank you.
Frankie?
You know what road I want to hear about.
Yes, I do. Malloy Road, correct?
Yes.
We're still working out things with the NEPA, with the Oklahoma Department of Wildlife, and where it goes through the refuge there, and some of the requirements that they want addressed during construction, and then finalizing the design, which is virtually completed. It's just in the environmental process is where it's at right now.
We were traveling that road just this last week, and me and my mother, and she's like, "Is this going to get paved in my lifetime?" I said, "Well, you plan on dying soon?" But, so we're just wondering about it.
It's going to happen. Yes, ma'am.
Keith?
They're in between 510 and 530. Yeah, in Claremore, Verdigris. Did they ever get that road completed to your satisfaction? Or did you not? It wasn't long ago I got a message that they hadn't painted the road. They hadn't striped it, and you were waiting for that?
Iowa?
No.
A different one.
Verdigris. It's address Claremore, but anyway, are you not familiar with it?
I remember the situation, but I don't remember the outcome. I'd have to check on that. I will find out.
All right.
And let you know.
We can do all this stuff without it being in a public meeting. Sorry about that.
No, that's fine. I appreciate it.
It prompts it when you're in front of us.
Sure, no problem. I will find out and let you know something.
Michael, in Washington County, the Fall Leaf Campground Road, is that an IRR road?
Repeat it again?
Fall Leaf Campground?
I am not familiar with it, so I'm going to say probably not. I'll have to check. I don't know. Or what? Can you spell? I'm not clear on what you're saying.
Family name's Fall Leaf.
Folly? Okay. I'll find out.
I'll email you.
Yeah, if you can give me a location, I'll check and see.
Anyone else?
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. Y'all have a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Good. Oh, okay.
Good afternoon.
Afternoon.
I think Gail brought around the VITA flyers for all of you. We will email that to Gail as well, so don't worry about trying to memorize or take pictures of it. We'll send you a clean copy of it. Just a couple of things about VITA. So our program kicks off February 1st. That's when we'll start actually preparing taxes for individuals. There's been some new legislation this year which is going to delay tax refunds by just a little bit for individuals claiming the earned income tax credit and the additional child tax credit. Those refunds are going to be held until February 15th, regardless of who files the return. So it's not just a Cherokee Nation VITA holdup. It's not just VITA. Even if an individual uses a paid preparer, those tax refunds are going to be held by the IRS until February 15th. Even after February 15th, there will still be delays in processing those. They said most of them would be returned to the individual within 21 business days. The IRS has been given some new legislation that requires them to take extra steps to ensure that there is no identity theft, that there is no fraud involved with individuals claiming those tax credits. So if you get any complaints about that, we're very sorry. We're trying to let everyone know ahead of time and to prepare for it. But just so you know, so the tax refunds for individuals claiming those credits may be slightly delayed, but they're going to be delayed regardless of where they file the taxes or who prepares them for them.
Okay.
Okay.
Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Nikki Baker Lamore. Afternoon.
Okay, this too. Today, the federal BIA regulations went into effect, which helped support the 1978 Indian Child Welfare Act. It further explained what is required to be compliant with the Indian Child Welfare Act, so it's a great day for Indian country because those went into effect today. It will help provide the courts more guidance, so again, that compliance can be met for our Indian children and families. Currently working on a commercial with the 5 chiefs and governor that should be shot at our next intertribal meeting in January. We've seen the storyboard. I'm super excited about it. It basically portrays a child going into foster care, trying to leave out a lot of the negativity or violence that a lot of times surrounds a child being removed, but focusing on the child's feelings, sadness, and hopes to pull at a few heartstrings for people to open up their homes to be foster parents. And in the end, all 5 chiefs or governor will have a child dressed in traditional Native attire, and they're going to say each in their own native language, "Will you foster?" And so we'll give some statistics throughout that commercial, and then in the end, this commercial is going to be very unique because how often do you hear 5 languages spoken within a 60-second time increment? And again, sharing our culture of each tribe being able to have a child representing us in the Native attire. So really excited about that, and could answer any of the questions or share with anybody on that if you'd like.
I just have one question. It's the last page of your report, and it talks about foster and adoptive homes opened and closed. And so why would a home close would be my question.
Sure. They have received a child that they have adopted. A lot of times our adoptive homes already have children, so they'll kind of reach their maximum limit and they'll just say, hey, we want to close. They might move off. They might have had a spouse or someone pass away. There are so many reasons. They might have come down with an illness.
Okay, but it's very rare for them to close simply because of the heartache that goes along with it or difficulties with the system and that sort of thing.
No, I will say that on occasion people do close for that reasons. I've been here for about 3 years now at Indian Child Welfare. It'll be 3 years in May. That's one thing that was important to me was support our foster parents because it is a tough job, and I can speak as a foster parent. I have been there. I have done that. I hired a foster parent liaison, and he's also a licensed minister. But his job is to be there for them. He's been a foster parent, he's been an adoptive parent, and that is our goal that we're working towards, having someone they can call and just say, hey, this child maybe smeared feces on the walls. I'm sorry to get gross or graphic, but I mean, sometimes things like that happen. And so we want them to have someone they can call. It's not just a social worker. It's someone who's walked their shoes and say, hey, I'm sorry about that. Here's some services we have at the Nation, and just talk with them, be there for them. So I have done that. I've also changed the managers that I have over that unit because we have had homes closing. If you look at that graph, I have told my staff, I want to see each month how many are we having opening, how many are we having closing. So I know exactly what you're talking about. It has caught my attention, and I put a new manager over that department to help me find out why are we losing them? And that manager calls each home and asks personally, is there something we did, something we can do better? And so I am on top of it, and I am trying to watch our numbers, and hopefully in the next 6 months or so, we can start to see some improvement in that area.
Very good, thank you. That's all.
So there might have been one more thing I was going to tell you guys real quick. Last week we went to 2 trainings. One was in Washington, D.C. That was a partnership with the Department of Human Services and OICWA, which ICW at Cherokee Nation has the president of OICWA on our staff. And so they wrote for a huge grant. DHS received that, partnered with OICWA. And the goal is to better serve Native families within our state. And they have this allotment of money to better that partnership. So that training went on last week in Washington, D.C., and again, that's paid for all through grant money. The other training that my staff and I went to last week was in Palm Springs, California. That also was paid for through grant money. And we actually wrote for 3 grant training. Last week was on something called Title 4E. And the other one was called CTOS, which I'm sure you guys have heard of before because there's 9 different purpose areas, and a lot of our different departments write for that grant and have it currently. But the training there was to focus on reunifying families, specifically in the age group of 0 to 3. You've heard me speak about how before statistics and data would tell us that children under the age of 3 are not affected by foster care because they're too young to remember it. And the new information coming out is that's not true. They actually internalize a lot of that trauma and stress. They did recognize the caregiver. They do recognize that caregiver is gone. They do recognize they're not being fed regularly and things like that. So we're working hard here at Indian Child Welfare to make sure that we're doing everything we can within the first 3 years of life to help fix that family's problems so that we cannot see families re-enter our system as often, because we do have people that get their children back a year or 2 later, we have to pick them back up. So I just wanted to kind of let you all know, I think there was some word that we might have been out there on an adoption conference or something of that nature, and that was not it at all. We were out there trying to figure out how we can better keep our families together.
Councilman Crittenden, did you have your hand up?
Yeah, just a second. I appreciate you, Nick. You seem like every time I call you, I hear babies in the background. You got your hands full, but it's always a sincere, all you can do for each situation at all hours. So I just wanted to thank her for that.
Thank you. I'm just lucky to get to come to work and do this every day. I mean, I'm blessed to get to help families. So I think I'm the blessed one. So thank you.
Yes, sir.
You know, Nikki, you're one of the very few directors that mentioned the fact that you just don't want the same repeaters in your program. And some time ago, I mentioned that we might have a data system where if different departments would look at and develop the system, we may have one already in place, we may not be utilizing it. It would sure help our decision making here on the council. I know it would help the executive directors on who we have served, how many times, and get some data like that. Well, it would help us make better decisions here as a council and you guys as directors. And we would save some money that way. But you're the first director that I've heard mention it that way, and that's something that we want to look into.
Okay.
Good report.
Sure. Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Y'all have a good afternoon.
We have no business pending, new business, Councilor Walkenstick.
Well, I don't, Marcia Lamb and her group are not here. I have to table this for next month. I'll make a motion to table.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Table till next month. Any announcements? Yes, ma'am.
Gail asked me to ask all of us to wear those red t-shirts tomorrow for serving. Everybody should have gotten a Cherokee Nation red t-shirt today. If you're here to serve dinner, wear it.
One's 2 sizes too small.
Yes, I'm gonna have to trade mine out.
So,
Mine's too big.
Okay, I'll wear one. Okay. I'll do it, Gail.
You'll represent us.
Looking for an motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We're done.
10 minutes.